Well, it's time for a guest anchor, and it's great to have you, Millie.
Thank you.
Thank you for my name, Abito.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
First of all, you look very lovely.
Thank you.
But you always do. I mean, this is like a signature. Oh, really? Thank you.
Yes.
This is like a signature look. You know, the big hair, the fiery hair, you know, the bold hair. When did you start doing it?
Well, for a long time, I donned bald hairstyles. It's not just this one. It's part of my persona.
Definitely.
It's not just my hairstyle, it's my dressing. It's everything about me.
Oh.
Everything about me is very expressive.
Oh.
I'm a passionate person.
You're a passionate person.
And you see it in everything I do.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
That's true. And we'll be speaking about that in a short while.
Yes.
But of course, our big question tonight, and of course you're here and it's good that, you know, you're a member of the National Assembly, and we're asking, should governors step aside if they will be mentioned in that Uhuru Kenyatta's list?
Well, what I'll tell you is that I'm one of the people who actually gave the president a standing ovation when he said that he's going to tackle the issue of corruption, because that's one of the problems that we are facing, a very serious problem that we are facing in this country. Unfortunately, and I said it on K24 yesterday, I said it in Ramogi this morning, that I'm hoping that it is not politicized, that the issue of fight against corruption is not politicized. And for me, I'm increasingly seeing that. You know, it's becoming more of the PR exercise yet again, and that's very disappointing for me. And the reason I'm saying that is that I was hoping, number one, the top on that list would be IBC and Honorable Churchill, because these are people that you already have a case concluded that mentions them, where people have been convicted. So really, even from a legal perspective, there can be nothing as glaring and as clear as that. But you have now cases where you have people who have even no clue that they are under investigation, and suddenly your name is thrown in and you are told you are on the list, you are corrupt, you are in the list of shame. So my disappointment is that I was actually hoping that the president is serious for once on issues of corruption. But again, for me, it's really looking at as a PR exercise. Really? And then secondly, I am really not happy that at the top level, you have the deputy president talking about telling people to step aside. And he has a case in The Hague. We are talking about ethics and, you know, integrity, ethics, you know, and governance issues. He should have led by example by stepping aside until the case is over. So really, for me, I think we cannot work with double standards. I happen to be one of the people who saw their names in the paper today under the Committee of Agriculture. And I was very excited and eager to step aside. And I still am, because there are those of us who must lead by example if we want to fight.
So you're willing to step aside?
Absolutely, except that I don't know legally what that really means. I've seen my brother Orengo talk about it, even from your own presentation. You can see very clearly, for people who are elected, even though like I am very willing to step aside, I have absolutely no clue what it means. Does it mean I don't go to my house? Does it mean I don't go to parliament? What does it mean legally? Because there's no legal framework for stepping aside. We raised it in the last parliament, and I think very urgently we need to come up with a legislative framework that deals with that. It doesn't have to be for a month, 2 months. It's something we can do within a week.
Do you think
to facilitate that stepping aside?
Do you think that the leaders of this country have let Kenyans down? And even going back to the National Assembly, I mean, what we have been seeing over the last couple of months is not very pleasing. You know, going back to the events of December 18th, you know, the whole security amendment bill debate became, you know, made worldwide headlines because, you know, of the misconduct in Parliament. Do you still think that Kenyans have confidence in members of Parliament?
Absolutely not. I don't have confidence myself in the house I sit in. I know some people have asked me before, why don't you quit?
Yes.
If I quit as Millie, the Parliament will go on. Really, we must find us.
But maybe to start with you quitting, and
I
then
can assure you, once I quit, nobody will remain. I mean, nobody will follow me. We need a more serious solution to the problem bedeviling our parliament. Look at me, 18th of December, I've never seen what happened to me in Parliament.
What happened to you? Because you know, there are a lot of stories that go around.
Yes, there are a lot of stories as usual. As women, whenever you are attacked, it's below the belt. Fortunately, people like me, I'm a very strong person. It doesn't really bother me. I have been the chairperson on Coalition on Violence Against Women. before I joined Parliament, and therefore I'm not embarrassed to say what happened to me.
What happened
Moses
to you?
Kuria hit me physically. He punched me in the eye, and I was actually hospitalized with a nervous problem after that. 2 members were busy undressing me, and 1 was pulling my panty. I actually went home with a torn panty. I mean, that, and you call that an honorable house? And you call that an honorable house? A lot of members, and then after that, there's been this story. I don't know why Moses Kuria decided to be so passionate about panties and ascribe to himself the panty removing when he didn't actually remove my panty. I know the member who did. It's Elijah Langat.
You are not on record saying that you actually just finished the whole process, quote unquote.
I told them I am finished undressing for them. That doesn't mean I removed my panty. What they did is the 2 members were removing. If you read my Facebook, I've not removed it, I'll not pull it down. It's there. I said Moses Kuria punched me. 2 members were pulling up my dress. And what I did as a person who knows that you cannot embarrass me over my nakedness, I pulled up my dress and told them, what have you not seen before? Is it my thighs or what else have you not seen before? You cannot try to embarrass me using my nakedness.
And you're not ashamed of those?
No, I'm not ashamed of my nakedness.
Of the statements you made in Parliament?
No, I'm not. You cannot undress me and think I'm going to go back in shame. I will ask you, what did you want to see? Did you want to see my thigh, or what else did you want to see? You cannot try to use my womanhood to try and embarrass me. Never, not me.
Is it
not
something
really.
that you would do again if it happened?
If you try and undress me, I will do it. I said it in Parliament. They thought I was joking, that if you try to undress me, I will walk across Parliament in high heels naked. Because that's how you try to demean women.
But is that
you're not going to demean us by trying to make my body, my beautiful body, look like it's a demeaning thing. It's not. I will not allow you. No way. Not me.
Okay, so I mean, is that the ultimate thing, or the craziest thing, so to speak, that you have ever done in defense of a political ideology?
No, it's not the craziest thing.
What's the craziest thing?
I don't consider it crazy. You remember the mothers of Wangari Maathai?
Yes.
They're undressed because as an African woman, the level I'll show my anger, especially for a person of my age, maybe not of your age. You, if you undress, it will just show you that you are pretty. But at my age, if you see my nakedness, it actually is an abomination. If you see my nakedness, it's an abomination. So really, it is also symbolic as an African woman that if I remove my dress, it is an abomination to you. That what you are doing is wrong. I have done it before. When we were being tear gassed and being beaten, and I told the police, you are not going to do, they were beating children, they are beating women. It is the lowest we can get as women to tell you our displeasure.
Now, Millie, as a married woman, I mean, and you know, you'll shortly tell us the story about how you met your loved one. What does he think of it? I mean, does he think, what was his reaction that day, you know, after what happened in Parliament? Does he get concerned? Does he ask you questions? Why did you do that? Does he support you?
He supports me. He supports
completely,
me fully,
100%?
completely 100%. Even right now he's watching TV. When I come here, he knows. And when I was going to Parliament, he prays for me. He is a very committed Christian. He's an elder in his church. He prays for me. And he knows I believe in the things I do. And he knows if I go to that level, he knows I am offended. So he knows, all I know that day is that he was really offended. If your wife is beaten, if somebody tries to undress your wife, remove your wife's panty, of course he's offended. And he gets even more offended that he's not able to be in a position that he cannot defend me, that he can't defend me.
So he didn't bring any bone of contention in the house?
Because he knows I was the one who is offended, not the other way around. Because he knows, I told him what happened in Parliament, and unfortunately the media has not been brave enough to show the country the photos of, I mean, the shot of actually what went on in Parliament on that day. It's a shame.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Okay. Well, that is, of course, coming from what exactly happened. But going back to, you know, to the softer side, because we know Millie Odhiambo, the fiery woman, you know, very passionate, like you mentioned. I mean, what drives you?
The same passion you see that drives me stems from another passion I have, which is passion in God. I think people find it very weird, but I am a very committed Christian. Not just go to church. I am spiritual and I am religious. Those are two things you can figure out what it means, but I'm both spiritual and religious. I am a very committed Christian, and what drives everything I do is my belief in God. Yeah.
Are you happy with what you have been able to do as a politician, the bills, the two bills you have brought into?
I've actually brought more than 2 bills. I brought the counter-trafficking in persons, which has passed, counter-trafficking in persons act that stops all these cases that we are seeing of our girls being abused in Saudi and other areas. I brought the Victim Protection Act that protects victims of crime. I brought the Treaty Making and Ratification Act that sounds very complex, but it's used in Parliament almost every week. Even last week I had Dwale moving bringing something under the Treaty Making and Ratification Act, and in the short of it really is that I was protecting the rights of women, children, and others under that law. I have brought one, the in vitro fertilization bill, which is still pending. The child justice bill, which is also still pending.
Still pending.
Yeah.
All right, Millie. Because we know, like I mentioned, this very tough side of you. Do you have? Do you cook for your loved one? Do you clean the house? Do you do those things?
Yes, I do. Not frequently, evidently from the nature of my work.
Yes.
Like right now, you can see I'm here.
You're already here.
So I left food on the table actually, so I'll go and eat later. But when I can, especially when I'm out of Kenya, when we're with him in Zimbabwe, I clean the house, I cook, I do the laundry.
You actually do it?
Yes, even when I was in the US, people don't understand. I was in the US, I was visiting my sister and my cousins. I cook for them. I tell them, I know you are working so hard, sit down. I do the breakfast. I do all the stuff for them. And I love it because I don't get to do it a lot nowadays.
All right. As we walk to the news desk, you know you're a guest anchor tonight.